I'll just delete that other one later. All right, we're back up.
Should be it.
All right, not sure if
Yep.
the intro came in and worked. So, just to run it back, all praise to the Most High, Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashai. That is to say, the name of the Most High in the name of His Son, which is Yahawashai. Double honors to the elders and apostles, better known as the Great Millstone. Shalom and blessings to our fellow laborers who teach the correct doctrine, the same doctrine, okay, and peace to the elect in the 1/3, and death to 2/3 of the nation of Israel, which is the so-called Latinos, Native Americans, and Negroes. This year being coined the phrase year of CHARAGMA or CHARAGMA. We're going to look at this a little bit further than usual, so we'll just jump right into it.
All right, this is Revelation chapter 13, starting in verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Right. So when you look at the word mark, you get the word CHARAGMA, which everyone knows or should know by now, right? You get this word CHARAGMA, and by definition itself, it says a stamp, an imprinted mark. Okay, an imprinted, so something that's going to be printed of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as a badge of the followers of the anti-Messiah. So it's going to be something physically put upon you. So a lot of people are trying to say that it's money. It's not money. Okay, it says the mark branded upon horses. So it's showing you again, it's a physical thing, a thing carved, that's physical, sculpture, that's physical, graven work, that's physical, of idolatrous images. Even these are physical things. Okay, so it's a physical mark, a scratch or etching, a stamp as a badge of servitude, or sculpted figure, statue, graven mark. So it's something that's physically going to put on you. And what that's going to do, when you read up one verse in verse 16, this is what it's going to do. Go ahead.
It says, this is Revelation 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Right. So now this is different than the old Roman Empire, because in the old Roman Empire, I was looking up this word CHARAGMA because I was looking for a photo, and what I had found when I had visited this site, okay, is this image over here to the right, which is a TESSERAE, it looks like, or TESSERAE, I'm not too sure. So I was just kind of like interested because it has the hand and some cuneiform writing, which looks like Hebrew for the most part.
It's got some unknown characters.
Yeah, it looks almost Hebrew, almost, I don't know, Assyrian or something else. I'm not too sure. But anyway, as I was reading this, well, we'll just kind of share a little bit of it. It says, these tokens, known as tesserae, meaning tile, were evidence of your entitlements. They were often evidence of your entanglements under Roman authority of the world of Rome.
So it's like a receipt.
Well, it's like a receipt, but it's more than that, because when you jump down, right here, this quote, it says, this system, or this same system, was used to provide government welfare. It is clear that these are almost precisely the duties and practices devolving upon members of our own great benevolent societies at the present time, when appealed to by a citizen in distress. So there has always been two basic welfare types in societies throughout history. They often are a key to sealing the fate of society and nations. These clay tiles that became titellus in a welfare state were not a new thing to Romans. A tesserae was the ancient Roman equivalent of a theater ticket. Stamped into a clay shard was an entrance aisle and row number for spectators attending an event at an amphitheater or arena. Above the doors of the Colosseum in Rome are numbers corresponding to those stamped into this spectator's tesserae. So it was interesting to come across this and read it and how they used it, because basically you couldn't operate in society unless you had this tesserae or this tile, which it explained it was for their welfare system. So if I pull up the word money, right? Here we go. So it says tesserae frumentarii, I don't know, the numeri or whatever, were tokens given at certain times by the Roman magistrates to citizens, in exchange for which they received a fixed amount of wheat or money. This was the original EBT card, to obtain welfare in the form of free benefits from benefactors who exercised authority one over the other. So when we read about Revelations 13, 16, 17, okay, even 18, okay, look at, well, really starting at 15. This the so-called white man is getting everyone ready. The leaders of the world are lining up to get everyone to take a physical mark in them, okay, to better control their society. So everyone is going to be forced. It says cause it all, right? Let's look up that word cause it. I believe it's not even a real, I could be wrong. It's been a while since I looked at it. So let's just look it up. It says to make. Okay. So it's going to be implemented. And if you don't take it, okay, if you don't take it, it says, because he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands or their foreheads.
So he makes all.
Right. So he's going to implement the system. Now, you still have the choice whether or not you take it, but not taking it, already by not taking it, okay, you're not going to be able to buy or sell, except that you had that mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, some people will say, well, is it forced or is it not forced? Well, if the whole society is structured around it, that's basically you're forced to take it, because now you can't buy or sell, right?
Right.
Except that you have that mark. So you can still refuse the mark, which you're supposed to do as an Israelite man, woman, or child. You're not supposed to receive this mark because, going back to the law, it's a physical cutting into your flesh, which is what you're not supposed to do. Okay, so you're not supposed to receive this thing. And the other portion of this word, actually, when we look at the word right hand, okay, because it all ties together and it makes more sense now. The right hand, dexios, okay. Now remember what it said in CHARAGMA. It says as a badge of servitude. Okay, this is metaphorically a place of honor or authority. Okay, on the right hand, literally, right hand, right side. Okay, so a place of honor or authority. Now, when we were reading about this, what does it mention here? That it's to obtain welfare in the form of free benefits from benefactors who exercised authority one over the other. Now, it's funny how this is a hand, right?
Right.
And on the hand it has all the information.
Right.
So this wasn't a new concept, what was being integrated for us to understand in this time, because it's saying, look, you're going to have to take a physical mark. You're seeing people get physically marked, okay, or what we would call microchipped, okay, and you're not going to be able to buy or sell, especially those that you want to obtain welfare in the form of free benefits.
Right.
You see?
Right. If I could say, they're gonna really structure all of society around having that microchip, just like they've already structured it around having social media or having a cell phone in general, or having a vehicle, a car to be able to get from point A to point B, or having a job to where you can spend FRN greenback notes to be able to provide this service or that service, or having access to the internet. You know, they've already structured the world to where it's in that format. So it's not going to be a very hard thing for them to switch over where everything's basically linked to that chip, man. and you won't be able to do everything you can do in society right now unless you actually have that chip, because they've already been proven that they can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And look, it's going to come in all sorts of ways. Now let's see. It says the Judea Gabe, or tax collector, collected ground income and poll taxes, while the Mokes collected duty upon imports and exports on all that was bought and sold.
Mm.
They had invented taxes that reached into the life of almost everyone.
Mm.
There were taxes based on the number of axles, wheels, pack animals, pedestrians, the use of roads, highways, and that's what it is now. You have the DOT. A certain vehicle is considered either commercial or non-commercial, which is why you need a CDL to drive anything over, like, I think it's like 26 or 28 feet over a certain weight. But then those smaller box trucks, you don't need a CDL license. Now those licenses are what? They're taxes, things that you're taxed on. Every year you got to renew your license.
Yep.
Okay, and it's and part of that is based on the number of axles that the vehicle has. Tabs, right? Vehicle weight, all that shit.
Your actual driver's license card itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
It says on admission to markets, whether or not you can enter certain ports, on carriers, bridges, ships, and quays, on crossing rivers, tolls, on dams, on licenses. In short, on such a variety of objects that even the research of modern scholars has not been able to identify all the names.
Wow.
Okay, so this is something that has been set up and known, okay, from an ancient time. So what John was saying, John the Revelator is telling us, this isn't a new concept to anybody.
Right.
Okay, this is not a brand new concept at all. This is why it's also known as the Revised Roman Empire. Okay, so it's going to be something physically put upon you, okay, as a badge of servitude. It says, or sculpted figure, statue, graven mark. And the reason why he's using this word to help better describe it is because this system was already known. This welfare system of different types of tiles that would let you exchange, or matter of fact, let's read this here. It says, TESSERAE, frumentari, and numerative, whatever that word is, and numerari, were tokens given at certain times by the Roman magistrates to the poor. To
the poor.
To the poor.
Mm.
Right? What does it say? We already know what it says, but rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their forehead. So this is going to be the new way you purchase things. Okay, in exchange for which they received a fixed amount of corn or money.
Mm.
So you weren't going to be able to buy or sell unless you had this mark. But now in the end times, it's going to be a physical mark that is put upon you. Okay, now like I said, you don't have to take it, but the repercussions of not taking it is you're outcasted and shunned from society, and you could face the penalties of death.
Yep.
Okay, you could face there are penalties which could lead to death. So what's greater? Do you rely on the Most High? Do you save your own life? Do you take the chip? What do you do? And in that day, you'll find out what type of person you are. Okay, so I mean that's pretty much it. Those are the main things I wanted to highlight. So hopefully that was edifying, and I brought some new light and something new for brothers to look at is this word and the concept of the tile or tesserae.
TESSERAE. Can I read this scripture real quick?
Real quick, just want to point this out too. Off here to the side, this box right here, ancient Jewish tesserae, okay, minted in 95 to 76 BC, made of lead. So even in the time of YAHAWASHI, this was a known thing that was going around. Okay, and then it's interesting here how they got CHARAGMA and what it goes into. Okay, our modern, which I'm not going to read all of this. You can. This is on a site called preparingyou.com/wiki/tesserae. Matter of fact, I'll just add it to the chat description box, and you can look it up for yourself. Go ahead, Al.
Okay, I got two real quick, and it's just based off of what you said. This is the first one is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 9. The thing that have been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. There is no new thing under the sun.
Yep.
The
Yep.
second one, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that's plain and to the point. There is no new thing under the sun. I think in the next verse it says,
I'll read it.
yeah, go ahead.
It says, "Is there anything?" This is verse 10. "Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us."
Keep reading.
"There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after."
Right. So how many of us knew about this? We're just finding out about this stuff. Our parents didn't tell us. Their parents didn't tell them. These things weren't orated down through time about, tiles and, where the EBT really comes from. Our parents didn't know this stuff, you know? So there is no remembrance of the former things. The historians and the scholars, they figure it out through text, through documents, through their research. And then look, the scriptures are all too true. So, we can't say, oh, welfare system is new or this mark of the beast is a new thing. It's not. It's been of old time before. Go ahead.
That was the point on that one. The second precept I have for you was Acts, the 5th chapter, verse 29, straight to the point. "Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey the Most High rather than men."
Yep. And so the Most High says to not take any physical marks in your flesh. You're not supposed to. Okay. So it's getting clearer and clearer, the meaning of the understanding. So anyway, with that, we'll wrap it up. Shalom and death to 2/3.
Shalom.